Hello friends, welcome back to Fix It Friday. If you're new here, Fix It Friday is where I go into one of your shops and I help you critique a listing, a shop policy, anything that you need, ship settings, anything. I help you try and fix those listings and items just so then you can generate more sales on Etsy. I am an Etsy seller myself with I think almost 23,000 sales, so I do know a thing or two about selling on Etsy. Today we are going to do one shop. If you're not new here and you have signed up for the Google form and you have been waiting for your shop to get critiqued, don't stop watching when it is not your shop's turn for the critique. The reason why I say this is no matter if I am doing a critique on someone who sells party decorations or a wood sign, if you sell jewelry, the same tips and tricks that I give for those shops, it will go across the board to your shop as well. So there is always something to learn here for everyone. If you are new here and you have no idea what Fix It Friday is, I've already kind of went over what I try and help you do. I do have a Google form in the description of this video that you can sign up for and get on the list to help get critiqued in your shop to generate more sales. Today is going to be a kind of an interesting and fun one. Not only do I have a couple critiquing items for the actual listing, the self that was requested, but I also have a little bit of buyer psychology in product pricing your item or pricing your product. Now, I would never tell someone how to price an item because that's not something that I would do. The value that you base on your shop and your items is all what you determine. However, there is a little couple tips and tricks that I can give you along the way to try and help generate more sales. And it's something that you probably don't realize happens all the time, no matter where you're at, but it does. And once it gets pointed out to you, you start to notice it. And there is a little bit of psychology that goes to this. Fun fact, I have 2 degrees in psychology. I actually, before I ever became an Etsy seller and a Make It Mom, I wanted to either be a criminal psychologist or a child psychologist. So working the brain and all the inner workings of psychology and everything like that is my jam. I love it. Okay, so let's get started. We have Jenna. She has requested a specific listing that I love. It's so stinking cute. There's a couple little tweaks in there that I would suggest. We're going to get into that, and then we're going to get into pricing an item correctly. Okay, I have already floated myself up to the top, so I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller, and we're going to go into Jenna's shop. She has 118 listings, so she's not a fairly new shop. This is the first one that I've done that's been over 100 sales. Okay, Jenna, I absolutely love, actually in her, let's back up for a second. Let me take my watch off as well because it makes some jingle noise. Okay, so Jenna put in her Google form that she has actually watched other previous Fix It Fridays, and I do see there is certain things in here that she has taken note of, and I do love that. First and foremost, though, I love this. I love this item. It's absolutely adorable, but it's crooked, like it's off to the side. I don't know. I don't really know what the terminology for this, but it's not like straight on. I kind of feel like we're in one of those topsy-turvy houses. I would not have that like that for the first one. I know photographing flat cards is hard. I mean, I sell invitations. It is hard to photograph something straightforward and make it look decent, but try and play around with it a little bit more. I would not do it to the sideways. For me, it just kind of makes me dizzy. You want it like straightforward. This is what I'm selling. The other thing too is I see that you have card variations, which is great. I love that you have the variations, but it kind of gets a little confusing if you have 2 of the different colors. I'll show you how to make it more visible in a little bit. But if you have one card that you like the most or sells the most, I would make that your front cover for your listing. So if the craft card itself is the top seller between the 2, make that your initial picture, and then I'll show you how to switch it out, because when I went down here to look at your other listing, like this is craft, it's also crooked. Side note, I'm pretty sure we have the same countertops. I think those are the same countertops that are in my kitchen. Now, moving forward. This right here is also like to the angle. It would be nice if it was straight, but You have one right here that you could use, but then when you go over into card variation, you see how this is clicked as brown, and if I do white, it just stays there. There's a way to switch it over, and I'll show you that here in a second, where you can link your picture to the variation. So if someone were to click that, it would go to that variation. I like this one. It's like straightforward. I like this one. Let's see, we're loading in. And this one, do you see how it's like complete, like someone would have to turn their head this way to look to see what it is. If you're trying to show depth of something, going down, like here's my notepad, and shooting from straight to this angle to show the depth would work if that's what you're trying to accomplish here. Okay, so going back to linking your variations. I have a listing in my shop. Don't judge the pictures. They are terrible. I still need to finish that theme in order to fix it. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you go into my shop, see how there is this, and then we have that and that. You can buy them in 3 separate variations in my shop. If you go over here to style and you click that, you got the camp sign pick only. If you click that, it all of a sudden goes to that actual picture. So when someone clicks that, that's what they're buying. If you go to RV pick only, then this goes, and that's the only thing that's pictured. Now, if you go back into both picks together, then both of those are pictured. So that's kind of what you're looking for, is to, like, if someone were to click the white variation or brown variation, it will go into brown. So if you go to edit, like up here at my top, you go to the edit. I already have it up here. Down in your variations, see how you have your variations, and right here it says photo. Click this button right here that says link photos. And then let's pretend that this was blank. This drop down box, you would click on the photo that you want. So this is a camp pick only sign. Ooh, I only have one. We'll do the RV. Oh, no, right here. So we can do that one. Just click that and then go to RV pick only. And we'll just click that one. And then both picks together. And we'll just do another. We'll just check another one. And then press save. So then when people go back and click on those items, those are the pictures that they're going to see. If you have a variation for colors, like different color options, like let me see. This would be helpful too. I don't have that on here, but like for this particular banner, right, there's a lot of color variations. If you had a swatch chart, this would be great. If you have like acrylic, if you're working with acrylic toppers, but you offer like a whole bunch of colors. If you had like a swatch chart for your listing and you had it in your shop, this would be a great thing to put on there and to link so people know what your color options are. Okay, and going into SEOs, I know you said you watched my videos, and I do like that you have I like how this is set up. However, I did notice that your home sweet home flat card, your very first thing that's up here, this right here, if I scroll down, in your first position of this one, it's going to be this one right here. For your first position, it is realtor card holder, and actually you don't have all of your tags filled out. If you did, you would be able to drop down and fill it out. So that's kind of how I know that they're not filled out correctly. Watch the SEO video more in depth. I'll link that in the description below as well. And we'll go to my listing and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If your first title up here is Home Sweet Home Flat Card, your first item down at your tags needs to be the same as what it is. So if you want to use your tag as realtor card holder, that needs to go at the first position up here. I'll show you that in a second in my own listing. And then your second one, realtor card holder, but that's your first down here. So that's your first. So you just need to switch them. Okay, so let's go into my shop. See how in my tags, the very first one is RV cake topper. And the second one is camping cake topper. So RV cake topper, camping cake topper. If you go here, RV cake topper, camping cake topper. So you want to go in order. I always suggest starting in the tags and then copy what you can and put it in your titles. Watch the SEO videos. It's a lot more in depth for this. That will help you a lot. Also, I didn't read your description yet, but make sure Home Sweet Home flat card. Ooh. Okay, your description is actually really good. You have a lot of the same. Home Sweet Home. Okay, so here's the deal. It looks really good. But for others, if your tags and your titles all say realtor, home, all of those good keywords that people are going to find you, the way that Etsy SEOs generate with the algorithm is if you say like realtor, home sweet home, a gift card or anything like that, you need to plug those into your actual listing. Do not, by any means, copy and paste your title back into your listing and put it down at the bottom. Some people do that, and that actually dings you on the algorithm just a little bit because it shows that for Etsy's algorithm, it's like you're cheating in a way. I mean, you technically are. So instead, just fill up your description with like all the deets of what it is. It kind of sounds redundant, like with hers too. It says home sweet home flat card, home sweet home flat card. And then she says to congratulate new home buyers. Like all of it just seems like it's very wordy, but that's what you want. That it's you. For the seller, we're like, but we just want to sell something. We don't want to like overfill it, but you do. You want to overfill it. The other thing too that I can suggest that would probably help you generate more sales is if you go into my listing, you see how it says, click here for more party decorations. So always tell the buyer to do something. If you want them to click back to see more realtor gifts, do that and then put your little link down there. Don't say like, if you're looking for more, if you didn't find what you're looking for, like don't kind of give them an out. Tell them like, hey, click this, buy it here. Moving on, last but not least, we are going to talk about charm pricing. I actually have my little note card right here. Charm pricing is something that is utilized in everything that you buy, no matter where you go. If you watched Price is Right back when you were a kid, it's the same thing there. Everything ended in like a 99, 995, 96. There's a lot of buyer psychology and research that has gone in depth with this, and it is something that I've done a lot of research on in my entire shop. This is just how it's listed for me. The way that charm pricing works is our brains always read from left to right. And it's funny when I hear my kids say this because they haven't noticed it yet either. But if something is $9.95, you automatically are like, oh, it's $9. Well, it's actually almost $10. Am I making you think a little bit? I feel like I'm making you think a little bit. And my kids say this all the time. If something is like, it's $9.95, they're like, well, it's $9. No, it's actually 95 cents more. It's almost $10. But they think they're getting a value at $9.95 versus if you price it at $10. There is a little bit more, and I will build onto this in the future for buyer pricing. I am not going to tell you how much to price your item. And I've said that before. I would never, never, never tell you how to price your item. However, if you would like to price your item at $7.99, so you're only losing 1 penny, place your item at $7.99 or $7.95 or $7.96. It will trick the buyer into thinking they're getting a little bit more value. They're spending $7 instead of $8. The other thing too is if you go, let's do camp cake topper. In Etsy, there used to be all filters, and do you see how it's under 10, 10 to 25, and 25 to 50? So your card is $8, so it's under that 10. But let's say you were selling it for $10, right? If someone were to say, well, I'm looking for a card, but I want to spend under $10, and your card is marked at $10, it will actually jump up back into this 10 to 25 mark. However, if you are selling your card for $9.95, it would then go into this under 10 mark, and that's where the buyer wants to go, right? A lot of buyers will start looking at the cheaper end and then work their way up. that's another day for another buyer psychology. But that's kind of the entire pricing. There is a magic kind of number with 6. You can Google that if you would like. So like $69.95 or $69.96. There's something with 6s that help generate a little bit more sales too. I'm not even sure why. I think it's because 6 might be a lucky number. I am not sure, but the psychologists have done research on it, and pricing your numbers with the end of 6 would help. And I do see a few people that are also doing the 9.5, 9.3. Just dropping it 1 cent creates a little bit of value for the buyer. Now, if you go to Walmart is a 9.5 and Target is a 9.9. There's a difference between the two of them. How do I explain this? Some people feel like when you drop your prices to 9.9 or 9.5, you're cheapening your product, like you're being like everyone else. But that's the name of the game, right? We're kind of fighting the big box stores as a small business owner, and that'll be like that for the end of time. There are a lot, you have to achieve the buyer. You want to pull the buyer in and say, hey, shop from a small business and not a big box. That's what we're trying to do here. So there are a few people out there that just absolutely refuse to make the 9.9s, the 9.5s, the 9.6. Like, they refuse to do that because they don't want to cheapen product. I promise you it will help you, especially when you're doing the pricing game, like right here at the All Filters. If you are selling your card at $10, you're going to go into the next up. But at $9.99, $9.95, you get the point. It'll put you down lower. Otherwise, that I would not suggest making your card any cheaper because you already offer free shipping, but just making it $7.99. And then I don't know, I haven't looked at any of your other items in your shop if you're doing that, but that would help too, and that will help everyone, and it's called charm pricing. So if you wanted to do your own little research on that, that's what you're going to Google search, charm pricing. And I will do a video on this a little bit more in depth at a later time and get a whole price sheet, because like $9.95 is different. There is like a whole big psychology of it. If you're going to price something at $100, $99 is better, and there kind of is like a jumping price point for this, but we'll get into that at a later time. But to start pricing all your items at $9.9. All right, y'all. If you also wanted to sign up for Fix It Friday, the link to it is in the bottom of this description. Click on that. I also have other links as well that I'll put in there, like the SEOs that we talked about earlier. Product photography, I will link that as well for everyone. Otherwise, I will see you next Friday. I also have my Bling Cricut video that's getting ready to drop on a Monday, so watch out for that. I'm so excited. So stinking excited. All right, y'all. I will see you later.